Aloha, folks. We're at the end of March, and the full moon is on the 28th, so it's the full moon in Libra, and welcome. Let's jump right over to this image really quickly, because I want to talk about what Libra is before we go any further. There's a very large, or not large, but prevalent stereotype that Libra is all about relationships. They just want to make everybody happy, and they're extraordinarily indecisive and often late to things. I'm not going to argue about any of those things. I will say that there's a reason that stereotypes can be prevalent. However, they're not completely true, but they are built upon certain facets of Libra that I will say are true. And the main thing is, I know this image is upside down, but Libra is the scales. So Libra is often pictured as a woman similar to that of Lady Justice, definitely a woman holding scales. And what I think is a little bit misunderstood is that Libra is all about relationships with others. Not necessarily. Classically, Libra was more about the marketplace and those kinds of relationships and transactions and having the scales, using the scales in order to make sure that exchange was done fairly. Okay, so fair exchange, because I don't know that most people realize that Saturn is exalted in Libra. If Libra was all about just trying to make everybody happy, making everybody comfortable, I don't think Saturn would be exalted in this sign. It just doesn't make any sense. Saturn is not interested in making everybody happy. Saturn is making sure that everybody is fed. God of agriculture, right? Make sure everybody's fed. I'm cracking myself up with that one. But yeah, Libra is also associated with Venus being the evening star. So I'm not a big fan of the fact that this chart doesn't show the domiciles of the signs on the top half of the chart. So here we should have, I can draw it. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Libra is also the ruler of Taurus, but this is Libra in her more common form, as the morning star. And so we know to associate Taurus with this more sensual beauty, but Libra, on the other hand, is the phase of Venus after she's gone combust through the sun, and when she reemerges as an evening star. If you know the story of Inanna, then you'll know the full story of Venus, and you can compare and contrast how she expresses herself in Taurus versus how she expresses herself in Libra. The moral is that as she goes through her Libra process, Venus discovers the other side of beauty, right? So in Taurus, she's like, I just want all the pretty things. I just want all the good foods. I want all the fanciest parties, and I don't really care how. Then she goes through her process of going through the sun, going combust into the underworld, reemerging as an evening star as Libra. She's balancing the scales. She's going into the underworld to see the dark side of her actions, throwing magnificent feasts and parties and having the finest of all goods and foods on the table does mean that there is a dark side, and that dark side involves war, the slaughter of animals, the mining of precious metals out of the earth. People forget how dangerous mining is. That's why we're trying to make it all automated, because anytime you try to extract a precious metal, especially something like gold or silver, you're going to get things like arsenic and mercury and all sorts of other extremely toxic and noxious elements. And Taurus, when Libra is in her, or when Venus is in her Taurus phase, none of that stuff matters. As long as she's got the pretty shiny jewelry, Venus is happy. But then she goes through her lessons when she goes to retrograde and reemerges as the evening star, the Libra side. And this is when everything is balanced. Now the books are balanced. And in the story of Inanna, the Libra is the side that comes and makes sure that the books are settled. And to me, that explains why Saturn is exalted in Libra, because Saturn is placing constrictions. These are the limits. These are the boundaries. This is how much it costs. Are you willing to pay? We need to keep everyone fed. And so, to me, it makes sense why Libra can be so indecisive, because Libra is checking those scales. She really wants to make sure that she's getting what she paid for, or you're getting what you paid for. There is an inherent desire of fairness, and that comes along with the fact that Saturn is exalted in this sign. So having said all that, and recognizing that we're in the full moon, we have to ask ourselves, where was I 6 months ago? So go get your little notebooks and your journals and review. Where were you 6 months ago? And ask yourself, what is showing up? Because that's the full moon, full light of awareness. What is it that's really showing up that you're coming to realize? Because once you realize it, it will then ripen. And I'm ripe. And once it ripens, then you can harvest it. So the full moon is really showing you what is about to be ready for harvest. So what have you balanced? What have you not balanced? Where is it that you're being gypped? Where is it that you're overpaying? Where is it that you're not contributing enough? Where is it that you're not recognizing what others are contributing enough? Is everyone being fed? Are you feeding everyone that needs to be fed? How can the way that you make exchanges with other people, both energetic or otherwise, be made more balanced and more fair? Are there any debts that you haven't paid or that haven't been paid? Now's a good time to take a closer look at them. And that's full moon in Libra. So if you have any further questions or want to go specific with your chart, shoot me an email. Thank you.